So we used to say when the crowd was really small. When the crowd was really small, we used to say, thank you very much, it's been a great audience.
Trent, come. Trent. Put a clip on so it doesn't fall out. After you say prayer on page 30, I want you to come up.
Hi, Seth.
Don't wait to be called. If I really see your spacing, I'm going to call you. Just come up, okay?
Someone close up.
And then you're going to do this. And this will be open to your page like this. And you're just going to go today. That's good. Yeah, and I want you to hear yourself in the microphone. What? What's in your ear? Oh, ear.
Represent.
Good, take that. Plus, it'll probably get your feet again.
Well, in front of hundreds. Like I was living the whole.
On this mic. Test 1, 2.
Did you want Shalom Aleichem after? Did you want Shalom Aleichem after the meeting, or did you want to
Sure. Sure. We have to start now because I can't wait for Bethany does the services.
Okay, actually, I could use 1 minute. It's okay.
Test, test,
Shall
test.
begin.
Let's go.
I start anyway? Ayada damba damba damba, ayada yamba damba damba damba, ayada yamba damba damba damba, ayada da 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 da. Ayada damba damba damba, ayada yamba damba damba damba, ayada yamba damba damba damba.
So we might have thought that the holidays are over, but that would not be so. We are smack dab in the middle of a whole season of holidays, including the one tonight. What's the name of the holiday that starts tonight? What's the name of the holiday that starts tonight? Hint, it comes every 7 days. Shabat. And actually, in the Jewish tradition, those holidays that come more often, or those things that come more often, are actually more important than the things that come less often. So this is a very special one, and we're just on the cusp of yet another holiday. What's that one coming on Sunday? Sukkot. And that is the happiest of them all. So as we welcome the angels for Shabbat, we sing them with just that much more joy. And that's on page 24, I think. Shalom Aleichem. Yes, it is.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Mihi Melech Malchei Amlochim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech malchei hamlochim hakadosh baruch hu. Barchoni l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malchei hamlochim hakadosh baruch hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malchei hamlochim hakadosh baruch hu.
All right, so now we can bring in some light for Shabbat. I want to offer an invitation to Kristen Michelson, who is making tonight possible in many ways, and also mother of Trent and Sydney, to please, if you would read the prayer on page 3. I will give that. Here, use mine. And then light the candles. Either one, that one or that one. Stand here, in the mic.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Go ahead and light them. Thank you. Want me to do it? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Who's making Kiddush? Nope. You want to do that? Bring some sweetness into the day as well. Page 5.
So you may know that the Kiddush for Shabbat and the Kiddush for the upcoming holidays is different, so I have to rack my brain to just make sure I do the right melody. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reshit ki hu yom techila l'mikra'e kodesh zecher l'tziyat Mitzrayim kivanu b'chata Yotanu kidasha mikol ha'amim v'shabat kodshecha v'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Drum roll. Baruch atah Adonai
Baruch Shemo
Mikadesh HaShabbat
Amen.
L'chaim.
L'chaim. Good Shabbos. So not everybody in this room knows one another. So, and maybe it's because you don't recognize each other because you got masks. So introduce yourself to somebody you don't know. Wave hi to our friends in YouTube land. We miss you. Rabbi Marit, hi. We've been emailing each other?
We've been emailing.
Okay.
Well, we emailed in. We had a Zoom meeting like a few weeks ago.
Okay.
Right when we joined.
Great. Oh, a different Adam. Okay. Yes. And Carla, good to see you. And hi, Adam's mother, Patty. And you're?
This is Isaac.
Hi, Isaac. Shabbat Shalom. So glad you're here. I realize I'm on mic. All right.
Except for the first.
Page 12.
Lechuna ranena, lechuna ranena, lechuna ranena, ladonai. Lechuna ranena, lechuna ranena, lechuna ranena, ladonai. Naria, naria, letzor yishenu nikadma, fanav v'toda. Naria, naria, letzor yishenu bizmirot. Naria lo ay 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 da 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 ay da 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 ay da 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 ay da 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 oy da 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 da.
So we have to say hello to somebody actually really special, and we should have said that first, because this is the first time many of you are meeting our cantor in residence, Cantor Jeff Warschauer.
Shalom.
So,
Shana Tova. It's nice to see all of you.
So Cantor Jeff is working with Sebastian, right, or soon will be,
Is
And
Sebastian
very
here?
soon we'll be, Sebastian's there, and soon we'll be with Trent and also with
Hello, Trent.
Amélie, as well as leading us on all kinds of very wonderful services through this year. So
And Amélie is also here? or-
Amélie's back there. Yep, Amélie's there.
Hello. Oh, I can't wait. That's great. Thank you.
Yes.
What an honor.
Yes.
Fantastic.
So now that we've said, did we say hello to Ben? Hi, Ben. Ben, can you tell us your baby's names now?
Sure. Abigail, Ariel, and Hannah Shear.
Does everybody know that Ben had twins like 2 weeks ago?
I didn't, my wife did.
You helped. But that's true, she
But I
did
was
do the bulk
there.
of the work.
And Ben has a new name too now. Dad.
Dad. Yeah.
Very exciting. Should we do a Simon Tov and Mazel Tov just because? Does everybody know this? If you don't, you should. This is what we sing when we have celebrations to offer. Ready?
Simon Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simon Tov, Simon Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simon Tov, Simon Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simon Tov, Yehelanu, 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 O L'chol Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, O L'chol Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, O L'chol Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, O L'chol Yisrael.
And we'll be singing that
Thank you.
after
Wow.
you read Torah at your bar mitzvah too, so that won't be a surprise. We are going to turn to page 20 for Lecha Dodi, in which we greet the Shabbat bride, queen, princess. I don't know. I think that's ripe for new metaphors. I'm taking votes. Shabbat influencer.
Shabbat influencer. Yeah.
I don't know if that works either.
Actually, my wife is a huge fan of the group Queen.
Oh, yeah.
And we were thinking maybe someone's done this, but there should be like a Shabbat Queen.
Yes.
Like just all Queen songs. Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. You'd be good at that.
So
Actually.
do
Okay, so we're gonna.
Scaramouche, Scaramouche. We'll
Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu.
We'll work on this.
She knows more about it than I do. But okay, so we have two melodies, two wonderful melodies. The first melody is from the Abba Yudaya people of Uganda, Jewish folks in Uganda, and this is a really catchy tune, and it is extremely easy. It just goes ya da 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 da. Let's do that again. Let's sing that. Okay, now listen really carefully, because the second part goes like this. And the third part goes. So this is really, really easy.
We're going to do the first, second, fifth,
And
and
the third-
ninth stanzas.
And they're like 10 different sections. They all go. Okay, this is really nice. Okay, and then the second part, so we're going to do verses, correct me if I'm wrong, Rabbi, 1, 2, 5, and 9.
5, 2, 5, and 9.
And we are on
That's it.
page 20 and 21. Okay, so. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה.
Verse 5.
התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך ומאורי, אורי, אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה.
Back to the top.
לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה.
Please rise, face the door, and greet the Queen.
בואי שלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה וצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה.
Back to the top.
לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה.
We may be seated, except for Sebastian Waldman, who I'd like to invite to the Bima to lead us in the Barchu on page 28 after his interpretation of this prayer.
In my eyes, the Baruch means we are thanking God for all they have done for us, leading us out of Egypt, for giving us the Ten Commandments, for giving us the Torah. We forget about these during our day-to-day lives, and this prayer stands to remind us about God, about what God has done, about what God will do for us.
Wonderful. So if you could pick up the book, put this one down. Actually, you can go ahead. Face the ark. Yide. We're on page 30. Mariv Aravim.
Yadai dai 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 dai. Yadai dai dai yadai dai dai. Yadai dai 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 yadai dai 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 dai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam אשר בדברו מעריב ערבים, מעריב ערבים. בחוכמה פותח שערים, ובתבונה משנה עתים. וממלאים הזמנים ומסדר את הכוכבים במשמרותיהם. ברקיע כרצונו, ידי די 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 די, ידי די די ידי די די, די 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 די, ברוך אתה אדוני המעריב.
Everything has a perfect order, from the sun cycle to the moons. Everything in this world has an order, and everything in this world affects something else. But it is all set in order by God, who keeps everything in cycle. Then when the moon and sun fight over the sky, God holds them apart to give us night and day. Baruch atah Adonai, Hamariv Aravim.
Amen.
Amen. Well done.
Page 32. With a great love, a great, great love we've given us, that you teach us.
אהבת עולם בית ישראל עמך אהבת, תורה ומצוות חוקים ומשפטים אותנו למדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו ובקומנו נשיח בסוכך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ואורך ימינו ובהם יומם ולילה ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל.
Page 34. The Shema. Page 34. The Shema. Take off your mask.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Turn the page. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchut.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנכי מצווך היום על לבניך, ושינתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך, בביתך
ובלכתך
בדרך, ושבחך ופרמך, ושרתם לאו על ידיך, והיו הטפות במן עיניך, ובתרתם עמוזות בנתך ורישריך. למען תזכרו וישם et kol mitzvotai v'ayatem kedoshim Elohim ani Adonai Elohim asher
Hotzeti.
hofeti etchem meri eretz
Mitzrayim.
Mitzrayim le'ot lechem Elohim ani Adonai Elohim emet.
Yasher koach emet. Fabulous. Really great job. You did great. You can go sit down. Let's read together on page 37 in the English, all together. Love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work, whether you are tired or rested. Let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai, your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai, your God. And all this we hold to be true and trustworthy for us, that you alone are our God, and we are Israel, your people. And we accepted your sovereignty. Moses, Miriam, and all Israel sang to you together, lifting their voices joyously, as we do now on page 40. Mi chamocha, who is like you?
Ay ay nay 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 ya nay 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 ya nay 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 ay ay nay 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 ya nay 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 ay ay nay 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 mi chamocha ba'li Adonai mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh norati lod osefel Dilot Osefel Malchot Karayu Vanecha Okay Yam Lifnei Moshe Umiriam Zeli Anu V'Hamru Adonai Yimloch Leolam Vahed V'nei Mar Kifad Adonai et Yaakov V'lo Me'ad Chazak Mimenu Baruch atah Adonai
Baruch Shemo.
Gal Yisrael.
Amen. Take off your mask.
What this prayer means to me. I once had trouble sleeping because I was worried about a project for school. So I try not to think about it. I prayed to God, and it helped me sleep better.
Hashkivenu on page 42. Do the song, right? And then you do the blessing, okay?
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom V'hamidenu Shomreinu leChayim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom V'hamidenu Shomreinu leChayim. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and raise us up our guardian to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel for your name's sake. Be our shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Ushmot Seitenu L'chaim u'shalom me'ata v'ad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom Malkeinu lechaim, Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, V'hamidenu Malkeinu lechaim. Baruch atah Adonai. No.
No, I want you to read the Chatima like we practiced it, okay? First read it in English, then read it in Hebrew. Just this. First that, then this.
Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people, Israel, and over Jerusalem. Bara etah Adonai, Hapares, Sachat Shalom, Alnu, Valchol, Amo, Israel, Val Yeshiralayim.
Amen.
Amen.
Great job. Go ahead and sit down. Good job. Yes, you can have your book back. No, I'll give it to you later. We are now at Vishamru on page 44. Call upon Amelie Mentha to offer her interpretation of Vishamru before she leads us in singing that prayer. Take off your mask.
This prayer is about Shabbat, or the day of rest at the end of the week. It talks about why we keep Shabbat. It says the people of Israel shall keep Shabbat, observing Shabbat throughout the days as the ages, as a covenant for all time, which I think means that we should keep Shabbat almost as an agreement or a compromise with God for making time. It also says that God created heaven and earth in 6 days, and on the seventh he took a break and refreshed. This is just like our regular week. We work hard for 6 days, and then we have Shabbat on the seventh. Shabbat is a time when you can relax and refresh and not have anything to worry about, or anything in the future. Not homework, school, or any sort of thing that may stress you out. You can sit outside and marvel at the world and nature in a moment of thankfulness.
You want to accompany us? Or do you want to do it a cappella? You want to sing it with accompaniment?
I can sing it with that.
Want to give
Vishamru b'nei Israel et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam. Vishamru b'nei Israel et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam.
Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti le'olam, oti le'olam, oti le'olam. Vishamru
b'nei Israel et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam. Ki
Sheshet Yomim, Asa
Adonai, et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz.
Vishamru b'nei Israel et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam.
Umayom Ashri, Shabbat Vayinafash, Shabbat Vayinafash,
Shabbat vayinafash.
Vishamru b'nei Israel et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam.
Awesome. Go sit down. That's wonderful. We are now on page 46, where we begin the Amidah prayer, in which we rise in all of our fullness, that private conversation with our Creator. We start on 46, 48, 50, and 52 together. Then we have our own one-on-one.
Adonai sifatatitahu fi agiteilatecha.
Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Page 48. Ata Adonai,
Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot, Imahot, Umevi Golov, V'levnei Bneihem, L'man Shemo Be'ava, Melech Ozer Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Ezrat Sarah. 50. Atah Gibor Elam Adonai, Mechayei Hakol, Atah Rav Lehoshia, Morid Hatah, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayei Metim Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Berofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem emunato lishenei afar, michamocha givurot umidomelach, melech memit umechayeh umatzmiach Yeshua. V'ne'eman atah l'chayot me'akol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayei Hakol.
52. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom, Yehallelu Selah.
Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
I invite you to conduct your private conversation with your God, your Creator, between pages 54 and 60, or the words of your heart, and take a seat when you feel like you've completed that conversation, for this evening at least. 60. 62. Yes.
Oh, say shalom bimroma.
Bottom paragraph.
Oh, yes, shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. V'imru, imru, amen. Ay, 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 da, 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 da. Ay, da, 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 da. Ay, 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 ay. Da, 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 da. Oh, say shalom bimroma. Oh, yes, shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Imru, imru, amen.
Hey.
Ay, da, 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 da. Ay, da, 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 Amen.
Amen. May the one who makes peace above bring peace among us, freely mingling. Let us say amen.
Amen.
We always take a moment whenever we gather to offer prayers for healing. There are a lot of people that are hurting. They need those prayers. They need hugs too. But when we can't give them hugs, we can still send prayers. They need healing of body, spirit, psyche, relationship, self. It's all good. So we turn to page 253, and as is our practice, we'll sing the first stanza, call out the names of the people we're holding in our hearts, and then sing together.
Mishera beira avotenu makor habracha imotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen.
This week we're especially praying for Millie Rottenberg, Howard Simon, Gloria Berkowitz, Gittel Bat Chana, Bernice Portney, Beryl Ben Sima Vishmua Leib, Steve Gellis, Sholem Avram Ben Golda Yeshayahu, Michael Rosenblum, Harav Miriam Yael Chaya Bat Sarah Yitzchak, Maxwell Zwain, Menachem Mendel Ben Yehuditu Michael, Dr. Isoka Nosamwota, Alan Mentha, Alon Ben Yael Perel, Eric Rivchin, Rhoda Alaribe, Luke Wright, Kreindel Chaya Rafaela Bat Yehudit Sharon, Kathy Gale, Dolores Mikkel, Harav Eliyahu Ben Miriam Va'avraham. And to these names we add
us, Rivka.
Stand.
Berachim Otenu Mekor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema. The renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.
So I've got a story, and I didn't have enough time today to check my sources, but I understand that this actually happened. But I can't vouch for that. Either way, and you're going to have to help me with this. You'll see. It's a story about Sukkot. And it's about Sukkot in a city, not unlike Jersey City, in which we know rooftops can be magical places. Anybody have a roof deck where you live, or a place where you go on the roof? Yeah. Up on the roof, you can look out over the streets, breathe the air, maybe even plant a garden or raise a flock of pigeons. Maybe you even get a view of Manhattan. You can bask in the sun. Maybe some of us call it Tar Beach. Yes? That's a New York term. We're close enough. And it's where you can see the moon and the stars in the evening. And this story takes place during the Jewish harvest festival of Sukkot. Now, the most important custom of this holiday is to build a small sukkah, a booth, a little small hut, to commemorate the temporary structures that Jews built in the desert after escaping from slavery in Egypt. And in ancient times, when Jews lived as farmers, this wasn't so hard to do. Farmers could just build your sukkah from the branches and the leaves they found in their fields. They had plenty of land. But for modern Jews living in the big cities, keeping this old age tradition alive poses a special set of problems. And in this story, our city-dwelling hero has to find a way to honor the biblical commandment of building a sukkah, and in that crowded city, what better place to find the open sky than the roof? So once there was a man, and his name was Jacob Lieberman, who lived in a small apartment on the top floor of a 6-story house in, let's say, Jersey City, shall we? Jacob lived alone, but he had many friends. Neighbors were always stopping by to see him, and children loved to find him at a free moment when he could sit on the stoop and tell them the stories about the old days. "You children don't know," he would say. "In the old days, a hot dog cost 25 cents. You could ride the bus for a nickel." Who has a story about the old days? Doesn't have to be that old. Cliff, you got a story about the old days? Black and white, right? Yeah. Anybody else have a story about the old days? What do you got, Cantor Jeff?
When we had television, when they would stop working, you just hit it really hard on the side.
Anybody got a story about the old days? Yeah. Adam. Okay, I got one for you. Remember when we used to dial a phone on a rotary? And remember the only phones were landlines. There was no such thing as cell phones. And each family shared one phone number so that when your friends called, very often they would speak to your parents and they would get to know who your friends were. And there was a whole thing about, hi, can I take a message? Oh, hi, yeah, hi, Mrs. Michelson, can I speak? How are you? Is Trent there? Can I, right? And you would have to learn how to speak to somebody who you weren't calling and ask if they were there. And then if they weren't there, you would actually have to leave a message that you would actually have to write down, right? And somebody called. That was before even answering machines, right? Anyway, yeah, and text messaging didn't even exist. It didn't even exist. You got one last one, Glenn?
I remember there were only 3 TV stations.
I grew up where there was one.
Only 1 TV set per house. Everybody watched the same show.
That's right. That's right.
I also remember a small insulated box on the porch where once a week
The milk would get delivered.
with a bill, and he trusted you to leave the money with your next order. And the milk was not homogenated, so in the winter, the top would freeze. We'd take it off and add a little flavoring and made ice cream.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, so Jacob would tell all these stories and even more about playing stickball in the streets, and when a car interrupted our game, someone would yell, "Hindu, do it again!" And then we'd repeat the play after the car passed by, and in those days, we would say, there were no refrigerators, as Cliff said, right? If you wanted to keep your food cold, you would put it in a big wooden box, an ice box, and you would get big blocks of ice from the iceman to put inside so your meat wouldn't spoil. Okay, this is for after we do cake. I have always wanted to know, if there was no refrigeration and there was no freezer, where did they get the ice? And don't tell me it was all the way from the glaciers upstate, because it would have melted on the way down. All right, tell me when we do cake. This has been bothering me for years, if somebody can tell me how that is. Anyway, and in summer, and if you wanted to keep cool, where would you sleep? On the roof, right? And Jacob liked to share his holiday traditions with his neighbors and their children too. On Hanukkah, he always passed out dreidels and chocolate gelt, and on Passover would come the matzah and the gefilte fish. The kids loved the gefilte fish. He would even invite his friends for a Seder and let the children look for the afikomen, the last piece of matzah, which they always found hidden behind the curtains or under the couch in his small living room. And in the whole neighborhood, there was only one person who didn't get along with Jacob. Everybody loved Jacob except for this one guy. Of course, he didn't get along with anybody else either. That person was the landlord, the owner of the building, Mr. Thomas R. Block. And if there was ever a leaky pipe or a hole in the wall to report, well, Mr. Block was nowhere in sight, nowhere to be found to fix all the things that would go wrong with the building. But if he saw those children sitting on the steps or caught a tenant putting a holiday decoration in his doorway, he was sure to raise a fuss. Well, one year, as the autumn leaves began to tumble from the trees and the city sidewalks, Jacob began to prepare for Sukkot. He gathered pieces of wood for the sukkah walls. He collected the autumn fruits for the decorations and the pine branches for the schach to cover it up. He brought a table and chairs for the guests he planned to invite and carried all those things up to the roof of his house. And now it happened. That was on the day just before the holiday. Mr. Block was paying an unusual visit to the building. And as soon as he saw Jacob carrying his leaves and stacks of wood up to the roof, he began to shout, "Hey, hey, 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 Mr. Lieberman, I order you to take that garbage off the roof by sundown, or I'll have you evicted. That kind of thing is illegal. It's completely against building regulations." And with that, he stomped off. But Jacob had decided that enough was enough. He was tired of putting up with Mr. Block and his harassment. Besides, Sukkot was a really important holiday. And Jacob decided, Mr. Block or no Mr. Block, the sukkah must stay up. The very next day, Jacob found himself in front of a judge with Mr. Block waving a citation at him. "Your Honor," he cried, "this tenant, he's breaking the building code against my specific orders. I can have him evicted." The judge looked down at the defendant from her high bench, peering over her glasses. "Well, Mr. Lieberman, what do you have to say for yourself?" Well, Jacob had never been in court before, but he spoke up clearly, and he told the judge about the sukkah, that it had to be built under an open sky with a covering of branches, greenery, natural material, pine branches. "In this city," he said, "where else do you have an open sky except on the roof?" And he explained that the sukkah had to stay up for 7 days and 7 nights. "Your Honor," Jacob continued, "this is a holiday when my people remember how our ancestors wandered in the desert without a real home. It's a biblical commandment. It's a mitzvah to build a sukkah. And I've always kept it. Sukkot starts tonight, right after sundown. Tonight. And sitting in the sukkah has never caused any problems before. I hope you will decide in my favor." And with that, he sat down. The judge listened very carefully, and she knew that the sukkah would cause no damage to the building, and that the tenant should be able to observe his holiday in peace. Yet, she also knew that the landlord had the city law on his side, and she thought, because she was a very wise judge. And then she spoke. So Jacob walked away smiling, and Mr. Block knew there was nothing else he could do. The law had been upheld. Now I ask you, what was the judge's decision? Trent. You're ready to appeal based on religious discrimination. I love it. I love it. You can't. So she says, okay. So she's, okay. Maybe the judge was Jewish. We don't know. What else? Who has an idea of how the judge ruled in this case? Sydney. Pull down your mask. So you're on Jacob's side too. I love it. I love it. Anybody else? I see your hand, Glenn. What do you think, Glenn?
The judge gave him 8 days to take it down.
The judge spoke sternly to Jacob and said, "It is true. The building the sukkah on your roof is against our city ordinances. You must take it down, or the full force of the law will be brought against you." Mr. Block smirked to himself, and then the judge smiled and looked kindly at Jacob. "Yes, the sukkah must come down. I will give you exactly 8 days to comply and not a minute more." What could have happened, Trent? Right, and then charged you a fortune. I see you've been raised by a pack of lawyers as well. Sydney, take off your mask so I can hear you. Jacob could sue for any number of things. Discrimination against religion. Poor living conditions. Sebastian, do you have something to add? Take off your mask. I can't see or hear you. I don't think I've told this one. Somebody else might have told it. Maybe Rabbi Hagen told it. I don't know. Cliff. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And he trusted it to happen. And this is how we study Torah. We have a text and we discuss. Thank you so much. Okay, we're going to end the service with a few more prayers. I'm going to ask us to rise for Aleinu. I think we're doing this one. So we don't even need the book. Just repeat after me. V'hashevota el levavecha ki Adonai Hu ha-Elohim
Hu ha-Elohim
V'hashevota
V'hashevota
el levavecha
El levavecha
Ki Adonai
Ki Adonai
Hu ha-Elohim
Hu ha-Elohim
V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai Lemelech al kol ha'aretz Bayom hahu Yeh Adonai echad U'shemo Seated. We always end with the Mourner's Kaddish, in which we honor those who gave us life, who held our hands, taught us, loved us, but who no longer walk this earth. On page 294, this week we are observing the yahrzeit of Ethel Swid, David Padlipsky, Samuel Parnes, Josephine Litwin, Rachel Levine, Sidney Genzer, and Alan Cooper. Is there anyone else here who is in their year of mourning or who is observing a yahrzeit? I invite you to rise and say their name out loud. So for them, we offer the Mourner's Kaddish on page 294. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Bialma divrach yerutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayachon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uvizman kariv imru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach leolam ulamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudisha brichu. Leila leila min kol berchata v'shirata. Tush b'chata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru. Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru. Amen.
So,
couple announcements. So thank you to Ro and Jesse for joining the crew, for ensuring our service was live streamed at home for our High Holy Days. Thank you so much. And you can even still join our tech team. So you can get in touch with Seth.
Thank you,
Seth.
Seth.
Is our manager of all the tech, so we can keep building that crew. And it's a mitzvah, bringing Temple Beth-El to people at home that maybe can't come because they're sick or don't feel like they're able to be in a group setting yet. And I know sometimes I'm working at home on Shabbat, unfortunately, and I can pop in for part of the service even if I can't be here. So it's really valuable, and thank you so much. And there's going to be more newsletter, volunteer and mitzvah opportunities. We want to keep getting involved, especially now that we're able to be out and about a little bit more. We can be in the community, helping each other. I know a lot of kids also need community service for school, so keep us, I think we have what's the new website to sign up? There was a website that we were using for signing up for service opportunities as well.
It's on the website.
It's on the website, so look there. Religious school will meet this Sunday at 9:30 a.m. Religious school parents are going to help build and decorate the sukkah. And at 5:30, we'll have a potluck dinner in the sukkah. And Cantor Jeff will be here to help with our music. So it will be a lively, lively time. We're having a community Shabbat dinner in the sukkah on Friday, October 14th at 6 p.m. The cost is $18 for adults and $10 for children 3 to 10. And we just need reservations by this Tuesday, October 11th. And all the links for the reservations are on the website. It was so fun last time. It was so fun. It even started to rain a little bit. We went inside. It was a packed table. We just shared food and prayers and thoughts and had some wine and some challah. It was amazing. So please do sign up. And our next Hot Shabbat will be in our sukkah, October 15th at 10:30 a.m. for singing, dancing, story time, and other age-appropriate activities. Weather permitting, you guys will be out on the lawn. I won't be there since my guys are a little bit too old for that, but it sounds fun. Consecration for our religious school students will be Sunday, October 16th at 6 p.m. And our Simchat Torah celebration will be at 7 p.m. with rollicking music from Cantor Jeff. This is going to be very exciting.
Just a little plug on that one. If we have enough parents, we are going to take the Torah out and we are going to unroll it all around the sanctuary and surround the children in the Torah, take a virtual tour around it. We can only do that if we have enough people to do that safely. The Torah is obviously very delicate and very precious, and so we need many hands to be able to do that. So it's a wonderful thing to be able to do for Simchat Torah with our kids. So if we have enough people to do that.
That would be wow. I've never gotten to do that before. And our next wine and cheese pre-neg will be Friday, October 21st. So we'll start with that at 7:15, and then service will come after. Introduction to Judaism is a 20-week class taught by Rabbi Morit, and it begins Wednesday, November 2nd at 7:30. We've seen so many people that are becoming so active after coming in your class.
Oh, I'd love that.
Yeah. And change the world one meal at a time with 1 hour of your week. We still need people to help out in the food pantry. And the food pantry has moved to Thursdays. If you don't have an hour, you can also help feed them with a donation for the food we buy. And there's details on the website. I know I've ordered through the Amazon from the website to make sure that I get the things that the food pantry needs. And you can also just show up on a Thursday, and you'll be glad you did. And a reminder that Teruma pledges for 2022 to 2023 were due July 1st, so please complete those pledge forms on the website as well.
Yasher
Thank
koach.
you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we are going to sing Ein Keloheinu on page 322. Then we are going to go to the back where we're going to celebrate our 7th graders with a special cake, offering them Mazel Tov. And we have to thank Trent, and we have to thank Sebastian, and we have to thank Amélie, and we have to thank Ethan for co-leading the service. Cantor Jeff and Ben, and it's great to be together. It's nice, right? It was a big deal, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, it's all these people, but now it's nice. It's small. It's just us. It's good. It's good. Okay. Yum bum 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 ba da 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 dum. Yum bum 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 ba da 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 da. Yum da da dum bum bum ba ya da dum da ya da dum bum 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 bum. In Kelohenu, in Kadonenu, in Kemalkenu, Yarana, 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 na 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 na, Yarana, na 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 na, in Kemoshienu, mi Kelohenu, mi Kadonenu, mi Kemalkenu, Yarana, 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 na 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 mi Moshienu, no de l'Elohenu, no de l'Adonenu, no de l'Malkenu, yanana 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 na 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 yanana na 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 no de l'Moshienu, Baruch Elohenu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkenu, yanana 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 na 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 yanana na 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 Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Elohenu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkenu, yanana 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 na 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 yanana 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 Tahu Moshienu. Yum bum 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 ba da 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 da. Yum bum yum da ya da 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 da. Yum da 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 da. Ya da da da. Ya da 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 da. Isn't that so cool? Cantor Jeff plays the mandolin as well. I love that. I love that. I don't know. Mandolin, challah, I don't know which is better. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz Shabbat shalom. Everybody have challah? Make our way back to cake.
Good job. A little bit. My wife's parents are here, and it helps a lot. Yeah, it helps. But we're getting it. I mean, we're like.
Yes. They say my mother's like they're all right with it. Like they're like a restaurant open 24 hours.
Yeah.
You know.
Not just this.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're right. Glenn, I love it. Because your brain answered that whole thing. Your brain answered that.
I heard the story before.
Oh, really? I think you could have figured it out anyway.
I had no idea. I had absolutely
The way I heard it was like this. I'm sorry, Your Honor, but in 8 days we'll be.
There's a story about LaGuardia. Your relative LaGuardia.
Yes, his mother was Jewish.
Yeah, they made him
Spoke Yiddish.